Mining crypto at home has got to be one of the fastest and easiest ways to start making a passive income today. With the recent pump of Bitcoin and many other altcoins, cryptocurrency mining at home has never been more lucrative than it is right now and will be even bigger in 2025. So if you're looking to start mining or even looking to learn a little bit more about mining, then look no further, because today I'm going to take you through the lot start to finish. So you'll finish this video and be able to get started straight away with no more questions. My name is Chris, aka the Bear Market Miner, and I mine a number of different cryptocurrencies at home on various different pieces of hardware, including GPUs, CPUs, and ASIC. So today I'm going to share that experience with you and take you through everything you need to know from start to finish. Set up a wallet, pick a pool, pick your hardware, build the hardware, and much, much more. So sit back, relax, and let's get straight into it. So to start, let's break down very quickly what exactly crypto mining is and how it works if you don't already know. So let's have a read. What is mining? So this is the process of verifying cryptocurrency transactions and adding them to a public ledger. Think of various cryptocurrencies as tech companies, right? They all have a certain task to perform, and all of our GPU, CPU mining hardware contributes to that task. So when you process a transaction online, depending where it is, you might be using a cryptocurrency tech company to perform that transaction. So that is how it works. Miners will solve the complex math problems to confirm these transactions. Now, we know that we're using GPUs, CPUs, and ASICs. That is the equipment. It's basically like a huge decentralized data center, right? And the reward for us is the cryptocurrency, all of which will have various different value and profitabilities depending on what we're mining, but we'll get into that a little bit more later. So one of the cool things about crypto mining, the network role, the decentralization. So we're keeping this network secure using our hardware in a decentralized way, right? This isn't done by the government. This isn't done by, big tech companies. Everybody plays their individual role in this crypto mining space. Mining does get harder on a lot of coins as time goes on. Like Bitcoin, for instance, is now not a coin that you can really mine at home unless you're using other programs to get paid out in Bitcoin. But Bitcoin mining directly is so difficult that it's pretty much not a viable option for at-home mining anymore. That has really been overrun by big tech and big industry. So now that we have a better idea of what crypto mining is and how it works, you're going to need to know what coin should you mine. Now, of course, this is a question only you can answer, but there are two main different ways to look at crypto mining. So let's explain that a little bit more in detail. Let's first take a look at spec mining or speculative mining. So the principle behind this is basically that you are mining a coin at a certain time that may not be profitable or inherently have much value. So you're basically mining on promise. So we can have a look here on the proof of work crypto coins. Currently, we're sorted by market cap. So let's say hypothetically you wanted to mine a coin that you've done a little bit of research on, but wasn't really making any money or was almost losing you money, and you're mining for the future. Well, with this recent pump and altcoins going crazy at the moment, if we search by our 30-day percentage here, we can see a number of these coins are up over 1,000%. And there's many more than this as well. So in this case, let's just say hypothetically you were only making 10 cents a day, but you were mining that coin for a year. With big pumps, that could be up 1,136%, which could mean that you end up making a pretty nice bag of cryptocurrency. Now, like we said, do your own research as far as what coin you want to mine. This can be a risky play, but it is definitely one that has paid off for a lot of people, especially recently. The next type of mining play that I want to talk about is profit mining, where you're mining directly profitable coins and taking that profit, selling it every day to create that passive income stream. So I'm here over on hashrate.no. Now I will leave all the links for this video in the description so you won't have to go looking around and you know exactly where to find all this stuff. Right here, we're looking at a very standard sort of graphics card that people use, a 3070, and we have a list of different coins that are making a profit right now. So hypothetically, if you were to get into mining, you already had a 3070 in your PC and you wanted to set it up, you could be mining a Leo and you could be making 30 cents USD, 29 cents USD worth of profit per day, selling that daily, weekly, and making that passive income stream. Or you could be holding some of it, selling some of it. There's a number of different ways to do it. Now, obviously mining on one GPU or CPU, the rewards are only going to be small, but we will talk about more about building rigs and setting yourself up for a slightly larger mining operation if that's the direction you wanted to go. Now that we have a better understanding of what mining is and how it works, we also have a better understanding of what play you might like to go with, spec mining or profit mining. The last thing you're going to need to decide is between solo or pool mining. The differences between solo and pool mining we have right in front of us here. So some of the pros and cons. Mining efficiency, you're less efficient due to a lower success rate. So for solo mining, when you hit a block, you get paid out that full block reward. For pool mining, when you hit a block, the whole pool gets paid a share of rewards, and hence when other people hit a block, you get a share of that as well. So a much more consistent payout rate. And imagine if you were solo mining as one graphics card on a network of 1 million graphics card. It's much harder to find that block. Like we said, the payout consistency definitely goes to pool mining. You know what you're getting every week, every day, whatever it may be. Whereas with solo mining, that can vary greatly. You might not hit a block for a week. You might hit 10 blocks in one day. It's all down to luck, network hash rate, and difficulty. So the technical expertise, I don't think is too much of an issue here. Setting up a wallet, solo versus pool mining, is very simple, and there's only some very minor tweaks, which I'll explain to you later. The resources required, like we said, if you were solo mining, you would rather be a much bigger farm. You would rather be 10% of the network as opposed to 0.1. So you'd have a much higher chance of finding those blocks and being more successful. The risk versus reward, obviously solo mining, you hit 10 blocks in one day. You're going to make more than you would on pool mining, but you might also only hit one block in 1 month. So definitely I would go with pool mining for the case of this video if you're just starting. Much more consistent, and you know what to expect. So by this point, we've selected which coin we want to mine. We know our play, spec or profit mining, and we've decided on solo or pool. So you're going to need somewhere to actually mine this to. So we are on a website here called miningpoolstats.stream, and I will leave all the links for everything down the bottom, like I said, so you can get straight there. This just has a list of all the coins you could ever imagine, most of which you'd want to mine, and a list of pools. So for this example, we're using Zealous coin right here. We've typed that into the left here, and it's given us a list of different pools that we can actually mine to. Now this will be the second last step before we get into the physical setup and building these rigs and setting all that up. The last thing to go will be a wallet. Now I'll show you exactly where you can get your wallet from. We are over here on an exchange right now called zegex.com. Now this also has a number of different coins you can deposit, buy, sell, trade. You can use hardware wallets, you can use desktop wallets, but for the sake of today's video, the simplest and easiest way is to store it on an exchange. Remember though, not your keys, not your crypto, meaning if something ever happened to the exchange, you've got little to no chance of getting those coins back. But that is very rare. It has happened before, but let's just assume a best case scenario here. So once you log into Zegex, you'd make an account, and all you would need to do to find your wallet address, which we will use later, click here on deposit. You would type in what coin you are planning on depositing. For our case, it's Zealous. it would automatically select the network, and then the deposit details would come up here. So you would simply copy this address and use that later for your payout address. So copy this right now, or whatever you're using, whatever coin, whatever address it is, and put it on a notepad, because we're about to need it very shortly. Next up, the fun part, my favorite part of the whole process, building the rigs. We're going to start with a CPU mining rig first. We'll go over the parts and how to install them. Now, please note that the CPU rig will require a much higher CFM fan, a much bigger CPU cooler. As you'll see, it barely fits in the screen. So let's get straight into it. Okay, so our parts, let's go through them quickly. We'll start off with this motherboard. This is an MSI B450A Pro Max, which is a second-hand motherboard I got off eBay, all refurbished from a good seller. So no need to spend a large amount of money on motherboards. They're not going to affect your overall performance, but buying something second-hand is risky, so always make sure you get it from a reputable seller. Moving on, we've got this beast of a cooler, the Assassin Spirit V2 120 plus. I said that in the wrong order, whatever, doesn't matter. This thing's an absolute beefcake. So it came pretty highly recommended, pretty cheap too on Amazon. That was brand new. Our RAM, we've got some CL16 3200 megahertz Vengeance LPX RAM. Can you see it in here? No, but RAM sticks, you know what those guys are. GDA4 as well, 16 gigabytes. Now, 16 gigabytes should be enough to not bottleneck my CPU, but we'll find out. This NVMe M.2 drive, 256 gigabytes. Now this, again, you want to go pretty cheap, isn't going to affect your overall performance, but it will make it nice using an NVMe over a flash drive when it comes to updating things like that. And we've got this little flasher, so this is pretty easy. Got it off Amazon as well. I think it was about 20 bucks. This is just a USB connection to flash your M.2, so you don't have to go ripping your PC apart, putting it in, messing around with all that. Yeah, so brand new. Power supply, I went brand new as well. Just a 500 watt thermal take. Would have been nice to go modular, but I'm trying to keep costs down low, so there's no real point on splashing out for it. Now I did go 500 watt. You want to try and stay around 50% with these for the maximum efficiency, so I'm assuming I'll be somewhere around the 200-ish watt mark, so maybe slightly under, maybe over. We'll put it on the power meter and see what that comes out to. And of course, the money maker, the Ryzen 9 5900X. Can you see that? Will that focus? You know what a CPU looks like. Got that second-hand seller refurbished as well. So it comes with an eBay warranty. You can't get warranties on Ryzen parts that aren't bought brand new, but hopefully it works. We got that for a pretty good rate as well, pretty cheap. So happy with that. So that is the sum of parts. We'll go through exact costs at the very end, so you can see what it sort of costs to make one of these rigs. But for now, let's build this thing. I'll take you guys with me, and I'll give you a few pointers along the way. All right, let's do it. All right, so first up, let's get this CPU installed, the little Ryzen 9. Now you'll notice on the back, they've got these little arrows right here. So that arrow matches up with this little dot in the corner there. So let's sit that in there, give a little wiggle, make sure it's nice, and then let's put this clamping bracket down. Beautiful. Next goes the CPU paste. This came with the cooler, so we'll get that on there. Get plenty of it on there. I'd rather wipe the excess off. Bang bang. Let's spread that around, see what happens. All right, that's a pretty even spread. Let's get this cooler on. Look at the size of this thing. Can barely fit it in the camera now. This came with AM4 mounting brackets, so you'll need to do your research and find out which brackets you need. So this just sits on like so. Let's get these fans on. All right, fan is on. Geez, you can really get a scale of that. I mean, it is a lot closer to the camera, so it's making it look a lot bigger than it is. Well, in fact, no, it is pretty, you know, it's pretty sturdy, which is what we want. We want plenty of cooling. Let's plug this CPU fan in. So check your motherboard for specifications for your RAM. This motherboard, the MSI B450A Pro Max, recommends slot 2 and 4 for 2 sticks. Make sure you hear that nice little click like so. That one is in. 1, 2, click. All right, so there we have it. M.2 is in, RAM is in, CPU and cooler is in. Next up, let's move on to a GPU mining rig build. Now this is a big 10 card build that I have done previously, and I'll talk you through the whole thing. Now you may not use 10 cards obviously, but the principles are all the same and we'll talk you all the way through it. So parts for the GPU mining rig. You'll notice this motherboard looks slightly different to our CPU mining motherboard. It has these little what's called X1 slots. Now, this is what's going to bridge the gap between your motherboard and your GPU, because you need to be able to fit more GPUs on a motherboard. And most standard motherboards won't come with that many X16 slots, and the whole idea of GPU rigs is density. So you want to fit as many on there as possible, hence the multitude of different X1 slots, and you'll see exactly what that cable looks like coming up very shortly. The next difference you'll notice is this CPU cooler. This is just a stock cooler with a low power CPU. As we're utilizing the GPUs for our mining, in this case, we don't need a high-end CPU or a high-end cooler. These will sit at anywhere from 40 to 50 degrees at all times while you're GPU mining, so not something to worry about. And also stock standard RAM, this came with the pre-built, so as long as you've got 8 gigabytes of RAM, you can even get away with 4, you'll be fine. All you need the RAM for in this application is running the HiveOS system, which we'll show you a bit more of later. Here we can see this riser adapter in question. So I'll show you in a minute how it all slots in together. This is basically where your graphics card slots in. This is your X16 slot. It is going to need power, a 6-pin that will come from your power supply. Now these SATA power cords I would not recommend. You will have a much better SATA connector. Any 6-pin on a quality power supply will do the trick, and your USB 3 X1 connection, which will slot straight into that motherboard. So let's talk you through this build. You can see we are just assembling a standard mining rig frame here. Motherboard is sitting on, all the parts already installed. Now we're just waiting to get this done and start with our other parts. The power supply here is being fixed in. Now in this case, because I'm using so many graphics cards, I have got 2 power supplies, but to start, you will not need to do this depending on how many cards you have. If you do, I'll show up on screen now a dual 24-pin splitter, which you can use, and how it connects. We can see here we're making use now of these X1 to X16 cable and riser adapters. We're sitting the GPUs in on one end, plugging the X16 to X1 in the other end, and securing those graphics cards down. All very straightforward. We've got 10 total cards on this rig. It was a pretty big build. Unfortunately, as you can see, we didn't manage to secure all of the same brand of cards, but you know, you win some, you lose some. Now, some of the challenges with building bigger rigs like this, of course, is the cable management. You know, there's wires going everywhere, but for now, I would imagine you probably won't be starting with 10. So now that you have both your CPU and GPU mining rigs built, you're gonna need to turn them on. So because we don't have a conventional power switch, what you'll need to use is this jumper cable you can see right here. This switch right here acts exactly the same as your power switch on any standard PC, and this end plugs right into your motherboard. So to find out where this plugs into your motherboard, you're going to need to go into your motherboard manual, just like we have here. This is for the B450A Pro Max, and you're going to need to find your power switch, which is these two pins right here. It highlights it pretty nicely for you. You will stick this end straight over the power switch, click on, and you're away. The mining rig should fire up. Now, the last miner we want to talk about is the mini ASIC or the box miner. So these are much easier to use and set up than your GPU and your CPU mining rigs, and they're a little bit more profitable at the moment. All they have is a power cable here, an Ethernet cable, and an on and off switch. That's all you're going to need to get started, and the setup is even easier. So first up, let's start talking about how to set up these GPU and CPU rigs in HiveOS, and then we'll move on to this ASIC miner just after. So by this point, we have our pool, we have our coin, we have our strategy. You've selected whether it is a GPU or CPU mining rig that you want to build. And now we need to install some software, an operating system called HiveOS. Your first step will be to go to hiveon.com, and I will, like I said, leave all the links for this in the beginning. You're going to need to create an account by clicking log in, which will be right over here. Enter your email in, log into your account, and you will end up on an empty farm. Now, as you can see, I've already got a couple of farms in here, but you won't have any. So the very first step will be click this plus button, click add farm, whatever you want to call it, farm, and click save. Once you've saved that farm, you'll be able to click it right here like we have. You'll click this button, and then it will take you into your farm where you can see your workers. But you won't have any workers yet, so we need to add those. How do we do that? We click this plus button up the top right, and we click add worker. We're going to add a rig, a GPU or CPU rig. Click that button, and this very first option, connect your rig fast and easily. Simple, we like simple. Install HiveOS onto your rig drive. So now that we've clicked that, our operating system HiveOS is a Linux-based system. We'll click Linux, and it will ask us to download the latest version of HiveOS. Click download. That will begin, and then we've got the ability to go to the next step, which is, of course, download Balena Etcher. Once you've downloaded Balena Etcher, you will open it up, and it will look a little something like this. So this is just a flashing utility. So what this is going to do is take that downloaded version and flash it onto the SSD or the M.2, whatever you selected, and that is what's going to plug into your rig and boot up HiveOS. Our next step will be to flash that downloaded version from the file. So you'll click flash file, you'll find it right here. You'll open it up, and it will ask you to select a target, which will be the SSD or M.2 that you are using in this rig, and it will flash away and start that process. Then look, after a few minutes, that process will be done. So we will need the rig config. So this is what's gonna start up the HiveOS for us. You'll download that. Once Balena Etcher is finished flashing, you will drag that downloaded rig config into your flash drive, and you are away. That's all you need to do. It says here connect rig, so you'll connect that bootable drive back into your GPU or CPU mining rig and turn it on, and it will appear in here as we can see. Now, there is a chance with some of these downloads that it won't do a headless migration, and you may not see it appear in your farm straight away. So what you'll need to do in that instance, plug in a monitor, go into your rig config file, because in the mining rig, it will ask you for your rig ID and password, which you will find in that rig config, and you may just need to enter that in to start. Once that's in, your rig will appear, and then we can start talking about how to get this thing mining and set up a flight sheet. The last step we will need to do now is we'll need to create a wallet and a flight sheet. So we will click on wallets right here. We'll wait till it loads up. We'll click add wallet. You will select your coin, whatever that may be. Let's use a coin called Pyron right now, for example. You'd enter your wallet address in, whatever those numbers are, and you'd click create. So this wallet has been saved and added now, and now we want to compile the flight sheet. So we'd click on flight sheet right here. Once again, wait till it loads up. You would add your coin. Let's click any coin. Pyron is what we're using for this example. Now remember, yours will be different depending on what your coin and wallet address you're using. So make sure you've got that wallet deposit address matching up with the coin, as you can see on that exchange. Click that wallet that you've just added and select a pool. Now, a lot of the time the pools will be added in here. So for this sake, we'll click on NiceHash, select our pool. We'll select our miner, whichever miner you want to use, and go into setup miner config. Now this will, well, a lot of it will be auto-filled for you. You can simply click on this I to add a password or the worker name. I just use X for a password. Now, if your pool is not listed in that list before, you would get that pool from the website listed on miningpoolstats.stream and enter it in right here. We won't add any config arguments in here for the time being. I'll show you how to do that in a little bit more of a basic way. Make sure your version is the latest, apply changes, give it a name, and create that flight sheet. Now we're gonna need some overclocks because we wanna run this mining rig efficiently. So if we go back into workers right here, we click on our rig, we can see this right button here. We've got a list of overclocks to set in. These are all set to 0 right now. So to get a good baseline of overclocks, let's go back to hashrate.no. Let's click on GPUs over here on the left. We will search for our 3070 or whatever coin you're using. Click on 3070. We would search the coin, Pyron. It's down here somewhere, right here. And we can see our overclocks right there. So how this would work, for example, it says your core clock offset is 200 and your core clock lock is 1470. You would simply enter these numbers in here. Whoops, 1470. Enter your memory clock in, which is 810. That's a locked memory clock. And a power limit set at whatever you like. Now this has 170, it won't use 170 watts. I like to set it a little bit lower. Click that, click save down the bottom. Flight sheet has been made, overclocks have been set. The last thing we'll do is go into flight sheets right here and click this little rocket button, and it will be applied and will be away and mining. Now, if you want to check your stats and find out where you can check your stats on the mining pool, let's have a look at an example that I am using at the moment. I'm mining a coin called Warthog on Hero Miners. So you would come back here on miningpoolstats.stream, click on this link, and it would take you to the Hero Miners page. You'd simply enter your wallet address in here to see your stats and payment, and your rig should appear right here and you're away. We have successfully set up our GPU or CPU mining rig. We're mining away, earning cryptocurrency, passive income as we speak. But what if you want to use an ASIC miner? Let's have a look at exactly how you would set that up. It's not a flight sheet, it's actually much more straightforward. So let's get into that right away. How do you log into this? So you're gonna need an IP address. Now, there are a couple of different ways you can do this. You can either log into your router and look for the miner labeled Ice River or the most recent device that's connected, or you can use another tool called Advanced IP Scanner. I will leave that link in the description. Basically, it will just scan all the IPs on your network so you can see it. Once you've got that IP address, it might be 192.16 something.0.1, for example. That's what you'll be looking for, something like that. You'll put it into your browser, press enter, and you'll end up on this screen. Now, with Ice River, the default name and password is admin and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the first thing you're going to do is enter that in and log in. Once you're in, you won't have any of these numbers. You will have a default pool addresses. Humpool is the default address that it gives you. But the first thing I like to do, and it will recommend you to do this, is go to your user settings, enter that current password of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, put in your new password. It'll log you out, log you back in. So that way, you know, you're secured. No one can get up to any funny business if they somehow get your IP and log in, change the pools, all that sort of thing. So once you've done that, the next thing you want to do is I like to just have a look at what my fans are running at automatically. So, you know, 3,100 RPMs, that's got a setting of 75%. I've set that automatically. You can just leave this if you'd like, and it will auto sort of regulate the heat. They do like to run hot, but I like to personally set my fan speeds a little bit higher and keep them cool. So on the same page, you're going to want to set up your mining address and your pool, for example. Now, I'm using Hero Miners. You can use whatever pool you want. You can go to miningpoolstats.com, type in Alephium, and it will give you a list of pools that can mine Alephium on. Obviously, make sure you've got the port. It does require the Stratum plus TCP at the front. So if that isn't included on the pool that you're mining on, you can just have a look at this video and copy that exactly over. You'll enter your wallet in, and at the end, if you want to get your own name up, all you do is you type your wallet address here, you put a decimal place or a dot, and type, for instance, I've got AL2, and underscore will represent a space. So AL2 light, save. I like to restart, and that's really it at the moment. Now, you've got some other options for a firmware upgrade. I'm not sure if that's available just yet. It does also have this cool feature of a miner log. They're basically telling you exactly what is going on in your miner. So a good way to check everything if you want to. Now, one of the fastest and easiest ways to get started on your PC right now without having to do anything fancy is to start using a program called NiceHash. So what NiceHash will do is it will take your GPU and your CPU, mine the most profitable cryptocurrency at the time, and pay you out in Bitcoin. So let's have a look at how you set that up. So the first thing you'll need to do, like everything, is go to nicehash.com, register an account and log in. It will ask you to verify with email. So do that and you will end up on your home page. Once you're inside your own NiceHash, you'll end up on this page right here. So up the top left, we are currently on our dashboard, but we need to download the miner first. So we'll click across one tab, go into mining, and at the top right here, click on download miner or add ASIC. For today's example, we'll be using a NiceHash Quick Miner. So we would click on that, click download Quick Miner, and then copy and paste this address. Now this is your wallet address. So this is what you'll need. Once you open that file, it will ask you for your wallet address, and that will automatically add it into the application and start paying you out and mining into your dashboard. Once that setup is complete, you will open NiceHash Miner and you will end up on this page right here. Now it will say start mining, but it will have to benchmark first. It will automatically benchmark all of the different algorithms to make sure you're mining on the most profitable one. So you would click start mining, and as you can see, it says benchmarking. The benchmarking is happening over here on the right. Benchmarks pending, as we can see. So once that is done, it's as simple as pressing start mining again, and you're away. So back over here under your mining tab at the top left, it will tell you what your profitability is over the last 24 hours, and it will start paying you out in BTC into your wallet. You can select whatever currency you want so you can get an idea of what it's making. So a really, really easy and simple app to use if you want to get started quick smart. So your final option for mining from your PC that you currently have is what's called Unmineable. Now this is going to allow you, like NiceHash, to mine the most profitable algorithm, but you can choose what currency you get paid out in out of a number of hundreds of different currencies. So let's have a look at how to set that up. So we are over here on unmineable.com. Links will be in the description, and we are going to download this Unmineable app right here. We're going to click on that, download that, and then open up the file, click install, and let that work its magic. Once that's installed, we're going to run the miner and open it up and see what we're working with. Mineable has now been opened up, and we're just simply going to follow the prompts. So it says here you have previously selected a mining configuration. You may want to auto detect your hardware again. So for you, you'll want to click on this auto detect. It will detect your hardware to find out what you're using, and then it will more than likely want to run benchmarks before you start. But first things first, you can select out of all of these coins what you want to get paid out in, which is absolutely fantastic. So for this case, we're using Solana, and we're going to use that wallet address, whatever your wallet address is for whatever coin you used before. Enter that in here and click start. And it is away and mining. So you'll be able to check this on the Unmineable website as well, underneath your wallet address, the same as we have for the other mining configurations. But in my opinion, Unmineable is almost unrivaled when it comes to ease and diversity. Now, NiceHash is great, but the beauty about Unmineable is you can pick so many different coins to get paid out in. One app I'd recommend you use when you're using Unmineable is MSI Afterburner. You can see here our GPU temperature is going up, so it's always really good to set your fans to 100% just to keep that GPU as cool as possible while you're mining away and earning cryptocurrency. Now, if you wanted to make any other tweaks, you could simply click down here on the advanced settings. There's a number of different options. Click on your advanced settings and you can choose whether it's your CPU, your GPU. You can also choose what memory size your cards are. You can select the mining algorithm. For example, Core Power is quite a power heavy algorithm. You could use something a little bit lighter for more efficiency, and a whole bunch of different stuff. You can get into parameters here, all of that. As it says, the commands can be found straight through Unmineable. So like we said, Unmineable, a really, really good app, and it makes everything super, super easy to get started literally in 5 minutes. So there we have it, guys. We have covered literally everything you need to get started mining today, whether that's building a GPU rig, building a CPU rig, buying one of those mini ASICs, or even just using the PC you're watching this video on right now to get started mining Bitcoin or many other cryptocurrencies straight away. So if you need any more help or any more advice, please join the Discord. The link is in the description. I'll add a new channel in there called New Miners. So just jump in that channel with any questions you've got. And please let me know if there's any other way I can help with setups, overclocks, anything like that at all. That'll wrap it up, guys. I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope it helped, and make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if this added a little more value, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Attention crypto miners, are you ready to level up your mining game? Then look no further than CryptoMinerBros.com, your go-to source for top-of-the-line mining equipment. Crypto Miner Bros stock the latest ASIC miners and partner with the most trusted brands like Bitmain, Goldshell, Jazzminer, and Ice River, just to name a few. Plus, with manufacturers' warranties of 6 to 12 months, worldwide shipping, and 24/7 customer support, you're fully covered no matter where you are. And don't forget, you can use code BEARMINER at checkout or click the link in description to save $70 on all products store-wide. Visit CryptoMinerBros.com today and start mining smarter.